We finally brought these two very close cities and town indeed together under our control. Now we've effectively driven a wedge here between the forces that are sort of beginning to sort of cycle through the south here. Their fight with the Ottomans is not ended in Prague. As you can see, Prague is only just been taken, and look at the fight that was involved in taking Prague. I mean, look at this, these Marines here, Grenadiers, were down to 92, 97 men respectively. 48 men here in the 29th Regiment. It was an absolute brutish fight. Fire Total War Darth Mod USA campaign, and this, my friends, how we left it last time, where we are at last being able to push out now against the Germans. We really are going to make a move, not only against the Germans, but also against the Austrians. The Council said, Malad, it is about time that you moved with some kind of coherent force here and pushed and rid ourselves of many of our allies. The Austrians only have Croatia left. That is their last vanguard here anywhere. So once we take Croatia, that should see the end of the Austrians, unless by some miracle they are able to come back somewhere else. But I think once we've taken Croatia, many of the council are saying, take Croatia off the march. Do not siege it. Take it and assault it immediately. Even if it costs you troops, it'll be worth it, because we'll rid ourselves of a great threat. Because the Austrians, they are currently in the Venetian sort of capital there. So all of their forces, you know, if they were to spill out from that sort of bridgehead they have there, it would spell disaster for us. Even though their troops are suffering attrition from lack of funds, it would still be a mighty force that would come out of there. The council is worried about that, so we must, with all due haste, we must deal with that. And if the Germans want to fight after that, then we'll oblige. We will oblige, I can assure you, my friends. We shall not back down from any fight at all. It has taken us many, many years, decades to be where we are now. It has cost hundreds of thousands, if not, I can probably guarantee you it's cost in excess of 1 million lives to get where we are now. And the financial cost to this, on this campaign, on this war, is probably insurmountable. We probably couldn't even count how much money, how much gold has been spent on armies, building armies, repairing cities, taking cities, reinforcing. You name it, my friends. Ships, the naval force alone we have is just stupendously expensive to maintain. It really is. But we have to do it. We cannot back down anymore. We have to take the fight to them and be much more aggressive, which we are going to do. We sort of had that surge last episode. We had the surge those last few years where we started to pour more troops into the armies that have had sort of the fights and haven't been able to have the armies, sort of the forces replenished in them. But as you can see now, we're going to hit this force here that's blocking our sort of main army group splitting out of Denmark. We're going to remove this force so these armies can join up with this, the main sort of fighting force in Hanover. We are going to push against this Hanoverian sort of just German force that's in sort of Hanover here. Before we do that, once we've dealt with this force, we're then going to move against Croatia, and we're going to take it immediately, my friends. We're going to absolutely off the march. We're going to take that, and then we will deal with whatever's happening here in Hanover. But it is time that we push back, because, as many of the councils say, there's that one major German city in the south there. We have to take that city. If we take that city, it will just unlock a huge amount of potential for us. We will then be in control of all the major cities in the north, bar none. Everything will be under the United States control. It will severely weaken the Germans, even though they're able to put together massive armies here. We are fighting at least 3 to 4 army groups in Hanover itself. Even though we've given them a real bloody nose, they're still able to produce staggering amounts of forces. We have to curtail that. Let's begin this fight, my friend. Let's start now. Let's start this fight now. This sort of the second phase of our European campaign here is to retake and smash in these German forces, whatever the cost, both financially and unfortunately the number of lives that will be lost in this new fight will be staggering. It might even surpass what we've already seen, but it has to be done. Let's begin this fight, my friends. The first Battle of Hanover, but by no means the last. By no means the last. Also, we've had some wonderful advice on what we should do with Algiers. We want to try and sort of... Algiers is a sort of a little bit of a conundrum for us in terms of what we do with it. It's sort of... It doesn't really have any strategic value for us. Although Spain is next to us, we don't have the forces to really sort of bolster it or use it as a sort of springboard to attack Spain. So we had 2 wonderful suggestions by the council. The first was to sell it to Norway and sort of get money that way, and also have a sort of an ally on that shore. But there was another suggestion, one that really did intrigue me, and it really is a fantastic suggestion. That was to give it to France. Now, France and Spain are at war with each other. Now, if we give it to France, there's every chance that Spain will just simply walk along and take it from them. But at least it will give France an additional sort of territory, additional region where they can start rebuilding. Because if we get France on our side, and they start to actually fight with us against the Spanish, because the war with Spain is inevitable, my friends, it really is, then that might be a huge boom to us. But as you can see, I mean, look at the topography here of this battlefield here. It is absolutely undulating here. It really is. But look at this sort of ravine here. I mean, that's a brutish ravine. Look at that. You can probably pass troops through here. But if you're defending, it's a perfect defensive position, because you can sort of break up the scope of the advance by the enemy here. But we're not going to be able to do that. That's a massively deep ravine. I mean, I haven't seen a ravine this large for a long time, sir. It's almost like a bowl. It sort of goes from this ravine, and it sort of moves into a sort of bowl shape here. But I think what we will do is we're going to set up very, very forward. Unfortunately, we do have this mound here that's sort of going to block our line of sight. Unfortunately, we can't really put the guns in, but hang on a minute, they're very, very close to us. The Germans are very close to us, so we're going to put our guns in a very forward position here. Let's get our troops. Yep. I'd like to thank the council as well for a wonderful advice. Your advice really has been exemplary, my friends. It really has been. It's been an absolute joy to read and also to implement. Let's bring everything back here so we can just realign things. And also, we do have some new commanders who have actually joined the Empire Total War family as well, so that's a wonderful to see. A number of read another number of comments saying that I know we've definitely got some, I think, 2 brand new commanders who have joined us in the Empire family, as it were, which is always a wonder to see. Oh, look at this! I mean, this is nothing short of overwhelming firepower, sir. I mean, look at this. We've actually brought the big guns here. The firepower, the fire support, indeed, is phenomenal. We are going to be quite aggressive here. We need to put an end to this. But they do have mortars, which are absolute brutes. Now, let's put these to a separate group. I think we're immediately going to put in quicklime here. And we're also going to put in, I think, shrapnel shot. I think we're probably quicker. We're near enough, should I say, for shrapnel shot. Are we, sir? Now, where would that bring... I know it's not, because shrapnel shot has a very short range here, as you can see. There's the sort of limitations of the shrapnel shot. If we put it to round shot, it just extends all the way past, way past the deployment zone here, all the way to here. So, we're going to keep it on that until they get closer, if they get closer, if we give them time. We do have some sharpshooters here, which we are starting to increase more and more into our forces here. We're not, because we are attacking, we won't actually put some of these into our sort of lines, as it were. A number of accounts are calling for us to actually include our sort of horse guard here, the sort of the artillery pieces here, in the actual lines, and then keeping the howitzers back behind the lines. So we'll start to do that. I know that I have failed to do that now. Let's put our general here. We actually don't have a general here for this one, which is unusual. We do have a wonderful complement here of cavalry. We've got 6 regiments of cavalry, mostly Recrassies, but we do have these wonderful lancers here. Look at that. Oh, it's enough to bring a tear to your eye, sir. Look at that, wonderful. Now, let's get the deployment ready. We need to have a strong defense so we can go on the offense. We don't have any sort of units that really stand out in terms of their experience, but let's put this regiment here in the vanguard of the defense here. We will at least protect our fire support here. We might be able to put some of our infantry into the attack, which would be a wonder. We have 4 regiments guarding here. Can we spare regiments to move out and attack in the field? That would be fun. We've got some sharpshooters, which I wouldn't mind to deploy in a more offensive manner. That really would suit us. I think we'll put these gentlemen here on the level. Try and move past this here using their skill, because they can hide wherever they are. They can hide. Those sharpshooters. We wouldn't mind to have sharpshooters on this left flank here, sort of moving up here, trying to outflank them. We do have, if I'm not mistaken, I think we'll keep the lancers back here in the tree line just as an extra defensive force. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, man, get those lancers out in the field, sir. But I've learned from bitter experience that if you take everything into the field and you get outflanked by the enemy, it can pretty much unhinge everything that you've planned for. So, just as a defensive precaution, we will actually use the keep the lancers hidden in this tree line here, just in case the enemy do and are a little bit very aggressive. I can't see that happening. We'll have 3 regiments of cuirassiers on the right here. Let's really go. Oh, look at that! The undulations here in these. I haven't seen something like this for a long time. The topography here is excellent. We're going to send out 2 regiments on the left as well with these sharpshooters. We do need to deal with those. We do need to deal with those mortars very, very quickly. Where's the demarcation line? There it is. So we've got to really absolutely hit those mortars quickly. We'll put our cavalry here. I believe we have everything in hand here at the moment. Let's begin. Can we just simply... mortars are going to absolutely they're brutish, sir. We've got to deal with those mortars. Let's get up on this hill here. They're going to tear us to shreds here if we're not. Look at that, look at that. Now that is skill, sir. Dragoons, got conscripts mostly, but that's just like, oh, look at that, horse traps. They're very, very crafty indeed, sir. I think they are moving forward on us here. That's good. sir. We're getting absolutely pounded. Look at that. This regiment's getting pounded to pieces here. That's why I left the Lancers in there. Oh, we've suffered some casualties there, sir. This is why we said, look at that, they're on the path. The crassiest of the one of the shattered pieces. What do you think? Oh, what a shot, sir. Oh, this is an absolute joy to see. This is nothing short of a joy to see. The sword. It's an absolute obliteration, sir. This is exactly what we wanted here. Come on, gentlemen, for goodness sake, get yourselves together here. We've got to open up this bridge here. I mean, the Germans have been in charge of that town for far too long. As well. We've lost that regiment there, but they did their job wonderfully there, sir. Oh, it's an absolute blitzkrieg. Of course, they were little against Lancers, sir. Don't you break, don't you break. They've broken. We've lost a lot of cavalry here. Let's get ourselves into Ceasefire. Don't disobey your orders, sir. No matter what it costs, no matter what it costs. Absolutely we destroyed that. Come on, gentlemen. For goodness sake, move. Ceasefire, ceasefire! Let's see what they made on now. Lancers. Gentlemen, we've got a battle to win. Oh, what a fight this has been. We've absolutely decimated this German force. We've taken casualties. Let's not be under any illusions here. But we have decimated them now. The Lancers going in. They've gone, they've shattered, they've broken. Nothing left. Absolutely. Yes. We absolutely vanquished them. We took damage, we took casualties. That's not been under any illusions, but by my word, we absolutely, look at that. We lost 500, they lost nearly 2,000 troops. Statistics here. Look at that, 268 killed with the cuirassiers. The heavy horse here has done absolutely wonderfully here. What a fight. Remove yourselves, sir.
Immediately!
Yes, that's more like it. That's more like it. That was a wonderful fight. Let's see the casualties. I know there's a little bit of a pause here, my friends, and sometimes a little bit of a panic just sort of flashes across my soul, shall we say, because there's so many forces within these regions. It takes a long time for things to sort of bring up the armies, as it were. So we're just going to wait here. A little bit of patience, my friends. Patience is a virtue. Can we now take Croatia? There's another absolute hub there of enemy activity that we have. We can take Croatia. What a boon that will be. But we needed to clear access from Denmark into Hanover here, so we can ferry troops from Denmark into Hanover. That was the most important thing for us. And they are taking his time here, but that's because of the sheer number of troops around here. Let's hope that we've got this sealed off here, this port here, as you can see, preventing the Germans from allowing access to their their shipping lines, and indeed to any trade coming in overseas. That's, we have to cancel that there. Ah, there it is. I do apologise for the length of time that might took, my friends, but as you can possibly look at this, I mean, it's just absolutely huge. Now we've got Prague, but we've got a notable and a sizable army moving in here. The Germans have brought everything, and here as well. We've got to destroy these pockets of resistance. We've got some German armies sort of loitering around here, but if we leave 2 to 3 armies here, we need to, and also we've got these armies, this sort of army group, as it were, sort of straddling between the two sort of towns here, between Poznan and Gdansk. Now we need to take Croatia. That goes without saying. We need to take Croatia off the march. What is going to be here? Oh my goodness me! They've packed this with some of their finest troops here. This is not going to be an easy fight. This is going to be house-to-house fighting, this is, my friends. It'll be absolutely brutal. Especially with Swiss Grenadiers, Swiss Guards, the Jaeger, Royal Cuirassier Guards as well. We've got some guns as well, but it's the quality, the calibre, Swiss Line Infantry, the calibre of the troops they've got defending this town. Obviously it is important to them because it's their last redoubt. If we take this, can we hold it against what would be coming our way from the Germans? Who knows? But we'll do what we can here. We need to remove the Austrians to sort of free up. Mind you, if Venice sort of spills out of their bridgeheads here, we're going to be in a lot of trouble there. But we've got a huge amount of forces around Berlin, which we're going to start moving along here now. I think the first thing we need to do here is to, actually we can't, because 24,105. Trade has been cut off. Trade has been hit pretty bad here. Cotton has been blunted here. India has just seen some tea fall off, but a lot of cotton has fallen off here. But because, and also the council did recommend that we actually, look at that, 85% government popularity. That is just immense. The government did, the council, I beg your pardon, did actually recommend that we actually send a naval force into the trade areas to try and free up some of that trade there. We are. Yeah, we're repairing that there, that's good to see. Right, we've got this force here in Leipzig. Nothing to be concerned about too much. It's, mind you, it does have good quality troops. We've got to be careful we don't unhinge or turn up one of our flanks to be easily turned here. Oh, why aren't these? They are replenishing, it's good to see.
Yes.
What about in this? Oh, that's definitely being replenished. That took a real beating.
Ready and awaiting orders.
Just the general here. I think we might start siphoning troops off from Berlin to sort of crush this pocket here of German sort of. The Germans are making a real stand here. So what we're going to do?
Ready for
take this army here and move it just across the river here.
Citizens, fight!
And we're also going to move this army here.
Make ready.
So, quite a nice army. We do have a good complement here of troops. Again, we're going to move this force. I think move this force here just to pack in this here. So you can see we do probably outnumber the Germans here, but that doesn't get. We shouldn't underestimate the challenge ahead here. Now, what's it going to cost to repair these gentlemen here? 2627. We shall begin repairs and replenishment. We should have, I do believe we've got some recruit. Yeah, we do have recruitment en masse here. As I said, we're trying to fill out those. Yeah, we're trying to fill out those forces here, but we're going to start moving some armies away from Warsaw. Now that this Warsaw was the first time that we ever sort of started to get a grip on this war. It was the main centre. We took Königsberg at the very beginning of this war, very beginning of the battle for Europe. Königsberg was our bridgehead. We established a bridgehead in Königsberg, and it was assaulted every single year from troops sent from Warsaw. So what we had to do is we had to build up a massive force in the homeland, in the US, and effectively ship it over to Königsberg and then assault the Warsaw garrison pretty much off the march to try and deal with what was coming our way from Warsaw. And it was a brutal battle, but we cannot allow Warsaw to fall. It's as simple as that. So we're going to sort of untether an army group from Warsaw that's been here for a number of years. Now, let's try and select. Oh, look at that. My goodness me, that is a absolute wonder to see here.
Yes.
Wonderful force.
Sir. Sir.
Not a full
Your
army
orders?
just yet. As you can see, we do still
Yes.
have some work to be done on some of these armies.
Your humble servant.
That's a massive cavalry force. Now, this force can probably be sent to the field. Do we need an 8-inch mortar in the field here? No. But as a backup army, this would be perfect. What we are going to do is we're going to disband this unit here. I know, but we need to put a general eventually into this army here. So we're going to start slowly putting together and moving out some of these forces. Now I know they've only got a regiment of horse, but as you can see, that's how far back we actually had these armies. I think we'll move this army here to Lodz, or this army to Lodz here.
By the left. March.
Now, this is a big move for us because we haven't moved a force like this away from Warsaw in a number of years. Let's move this army again. Just the back up. We're going to start pushing against the Germans now.
Make ready.
Actually, we'll use this one. Its composition is a little bit more varied, a little bit better balanced.
Sir.
Now let's just rearrange things a little bit here.
Sir. Your orders? More orders? Make ready. Forward. March.
Yes, excellent. Now we are recruiting here, so that's good. So we'll start adding additional forces to the armies in and around Warsaw. But we've now committed to pushing against Breslau as well here, and also taking Munich, which is the last bastion here of German power. And to that end, we also need to crush in this pocket here. So we're going to deal with this force in Leipzig. We're going to actually take forces away from Berlin, which is again a large gamble for us. But the defensive force here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good grief! I think we'll send the Marine Expeditionary Force into Leipzig. I think that's what we'll do. Yeah, we'll send the Marines into Leipzig, and then what we'll do then is we'll take these.
Humble
Actually, we need additional forces here as well. Actually, that's excellent. So that this army will be made whole. And then what we'll do, once the Marines have dealt with the garrison in Leipzig, we will then detach 2 additional armies from Berlin. And then what we'll do, once we take Leipzig, we'll then start moving across here. We'll place the army group here, blocking any further advance. We're then going to crush in this German force here. It's going to be a battle, my friends, of the likes of which we haven't seen in a very long time. Because as you can see, the Germans have sent in some of their finest forces here to try and sort of hold us in here. Probably this could be one of the last great battles we'll see in the north for a long, long time. Because once we've cleared this, we'll have effectively pushed the Germans out of everything sort of south of Stuttgart. If we could take care of this, of Breslau, we'll have cleared all of the north in our favour, and that is something we need to do. We're also looking to push troops, or actually add additional troops into these forces here in around Gdansk, because they are not full by any means. You can see here a number of them are missing great swathes of units here.
Sir.
So we probably might have to deal. I don't think we've got enough strength to deal with Breslau. Actually, we probably do. If we combine these 2 army groups, we can probably deal with Breslau, and then we can sort of push back against that. Then using the army group that wasn't even the fighting for Breslau, we'll probably double back and head towards Gdansk, ridding ourselves here. That's the entirety. But our next task must be to deal with Croatia. Now, what forces do we have here? We don't have anything there at the moment. Yes, we are recruiting, which is excellent to see. Now, which is the force that will deal with the garrison here? We need a force that's got the experience, the combat experience.
Ready and awaiting orders.
That is a highly experienced army here. Sending in one of the council members, to be honest with you, to do this.
Sir.
Do we have any council members on this particular front here? We do have Robert King here, who is, I mean, this is highly experienced, and it does have the firepower we need here. That's a significant army. We've only got the cuirassiers here, but the firepower here is substantial. I think what we will do is we will send in these two forces here to deal with it.
Make ready.
We don't have the cavalry, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem for us. Let's do this.
Prepare for battle.
The council has called for this to happen, and oh, what the blazes! It also pulls in all of these forces here. Good grief! From where, though, sir? We'll just quickly siege this with it. Just 1 second. But where is that coming from? Where is that force? It is it's nowhere to be seen. How are they dragging in this force here? Don't tell me this is the force they're dragging in that's going to be used to help fight them. I can't quite grasp. I can't quite grasp the depth of the defensive zone in Zagreb. How can it be that large? And again, we've got to wait here for these forces to take place here. I just do not for the life of me understand how that can be such a massive... How those defensive... I don't even know where those defensive forces are coming from. Because we've got ours from Vienna here. That's a good 200 miles probably. 300 miles. Where is the defensive force that we're dragging in to help us as well? I don't quite understand where they're getting that from. It must be this force here.
Settlement under siege.
Right, like, okay, okay. It must be these gentlemen here then. Yes, it is. So the port is actually adding security to Zagreb. I don't know how that is possible. And we must be pulling in...
Sir.
We are going to do then is we're going to put these gentlemen into here to quell any possible rebellion. So it must be this port here that's dragging in these gentlemen.
The swine rot and sty.
My goodness me, that's a heck of a fight, sir. We're just going to hold off there for a moment. I just want to check how we are doing actually in... Also the council saying we've got to break this Don sort of grip here. Now we have taken Damascus, and that was taken very easily. We've also even... Actually, we could take Palestine here. We could take Jerusalem. That would be excellent. We can leave the Croatian battle for next episode because that's going to take a long time for that fight. So we might do also many of the council saying try and get peace with the Mamluks. But I think we might take well, let's see if we can give Algiers to the French. I know, but we're not really going to lose a lot. And this force would then be sent to Greece, to Patras. Then we can then ferry this force from Patras into Ankara to add some additional depth to the defences here. The Ottomans are moving against us. But if we can take Jerusalem, which we might probably do right now, I think. So I think our first task here is to give Algiers to the French. Because giving Algiers to the French is going to ease that burden we've got here. We don't really need it, so it's going to free up a force as well. Now I know there's a wonderful suggestion of us giving it sort of for the Norwegians to pay for it, but I do that. It was a fantastic suggestion, and please don't be offended, my friends, if I sort of I don't take suggestions or use suggestions. They are wonderful, but there was another one with the French. I think if we give Algiers to France, just give them France. Just give it to them. Don't ask anything in particular, and just take that off our books, as it were. And that will just free up force, but also put France within touching distance of one of their main enemies, which is Spain. So just quickly do that. What's their going to be a reaction? Will they accept it? That's the key. Look at that terrifying power, spectacular wealth. Our trade partners are exceptionally. We've got a lot of enemies, so a huge amount of enemies. And of course, each decision is taking quite the time here. Our allies, of course, are Britain and Norway, who have been staunch allies of ours all the way through. So we can just hope that they do accept Algiers. I think they will. We're trying to sort of not rebuild France. That would be the wrong wording to use. We are, shall I say, we are using France to our benefit. So we're hoping that France will be used to sort of keep the Spanish in check. Now, the council also said that France has actually landed a force in Spain, in Portugal, I believe, and that's keeping the Spanish tied down. As you can see, it's taking quite a while for these things to work out. It's because we haven't come to this region yet and actually chosen an army which then sort of lets everything catch up. So what I'll do next time, before I actually start the campaign, I will actually make sure I go through every region and select an army to sort of free up that. My goodness me, it's taking a while. It's taking a huge amount of time. You might see a cut here, my friends, in the edit here. I might edit this little bit out here just to get it, because I mean this is just ridiculous. It's taking a huge amount of time for them to accept this. So there we are. Now they have that. They're indifferent. We're very friendly of them now. That took a very long time. So well, that's French now. So we've actually, because we're allies, we actually keep our force on them, but we don't want to keep them on here. We should keep them here till they're replenished. But now the French have direct contact with Spain. They've actually got this force here, but I don't know where that French force went. Do have a large force here on the borders here, and all these troops are in good order, so we've got to be careful what we're doing here. Now I think what we'll do is we'll take Palestine, and that's it. So let's take this fight, my friends. Let's assault Jerusalem here. Once we've taken this, then what we'll do is, because the fight is so large for Croatia, we will leave that fight until next episode. So what we'll do, we'll just sort of do the battle. So I know that last episode the council called for us to take sort of the primary cities within the Middle East. We've got Egypt, we've then got Jerusalem, then we'll also have Damascus as well. If we can then take Croatia as well at the same time. The topography, this is a huge deployment zone, absolutely massive. Ah, a fort. So we're absolutely going to be assaulting a fort here. That's good, that's not a problem. We've got plenty of cavalry here, and we've also got plenty of, thankfully we've got plenty of infantry. Let's bring the guns absolute to bear here. I think what we'll do is we'll come from this angle here with the guns. Thankfully we've got enough guns here to just pretty much blitz the entire garrison, which is exactly what we're going to. Look, good grief, 174, 225 men? You jest, sir, surely. Let's just, again, bring them into proper alignment. Our General Roberts. Now they do have mortar, which we have to be careful of. We'll keep the cavalry just to one side for the moment. Now we're going to need a force to breach the cavalry regiment here as well. Now we're going to need to breach these walls, unless they come out towards us. I don't think they'll be doing that. What we will do then is we will just set some defensive units, but the rest will be sent. I think we'll have 3 regiments in defense just in case. But the rest will be used to assault the walls. Look at that. Now let's bring them into 3 groups. Let's put them into proper assault formation. I do like to have a certain sort of formation here when we assault. We've got then these 3 regiments here, which we will put on the right hand side. Put them up here. We'll actually push in 2 cavalry regiments with this assault force. So if we do get the walls breached, we can move straight in. Actually, yeah, we'll have 2 cavalry moving in with this assault force. We'll just hold 1 force back here, just in case, just for the defense. Let's begin. Actually, let's set the gentlemen. The quick line. We need to break this garrison as quickly as possible. Where's the quick line going to come into? Is it going to fall short? I don't believe so. Let's begin. We did unlimber. We did not unlimber. Total fool, Mallow, you are. Let's not panic. Let's not panic now. They've got reinforcements coming in here. Azars. Now, can we break these before they even get there? I think we possibly can, sir. Where's demarcation line here? They got 24. They got 24-pounder howitzers. That is just a joy to see. Oh my goodness, they've been absolutely flattened. Here they come. Do they have any mortars? That's the key question. They've got an organ gun though. But no mortars. Absolutely destroyed, sir. Let's put an end to these. That's their guns gone. That's not going to reach. light infantry on here. We can take care of these grenadiers. Oh. Absolutely brutalized there. We can take all of these forces out here before we get anywhere near it. That's open. That is actually an open gate there. Oh, that's more like it. That's more like it, sir. Come on. Oh, they don't like it. They don't like it. Can we just barrage our way into here? Gotta wait for any more reinforcements coming in. We've got to isolate this this fortress here. If we could move our forces, I think, here, just ready to assault on this flank here. And also here as well. The systematic dismantlement here of any of these forces here. Let's just put ourselves here ready to assault as well. That gate there is still open. What we will do is we'll put these gentlemen here. Just ready to arrow into that gate there. Oh, gentlemen, double time! They have a huge amount of forces here at their disposal. Actually set one of this force here. Actually here. Oh. Any more reinforcements coming in here for them. I believe that was it. Now we're just preparing for this assault here. We're moving our forces into position, gentlemen. I wonder if we could push to this gate here and absolutely... That's a wonderful shot. My compliments to the chef, sir. This force here is probably the largest I have to worry about here. Is the garrison is raiding the Azars they have here, but got to take them apart bit by bit. We really have absolutely just decimated them here. I mean, the big arm, I mean, just destroyed them utterly. That force has been obliterated. Stand ready, sir. Is that still open? It is. If we could just pour into there and just take these out here. Oh, they've suffered a huge amount of attrition. Since they're focused on this force here so much, let's go, lads. Time to assault. Let's assault. Oh, gentlemen, please. We've just we've shattered our own army. We've just shattered a whole regiment, which we probably just needed. Oh my goodness me, it's broken. me. Get in there, lads, they're broken. Oh my gosh, what an absolute monstrous fight here. Ceasefire! Red fire! Fire! Ceasefire! Come on, lads. Little death is shattered. Come on, gotta break this flank here. What a fight this has been, what a fight.
Shooting range. Whoa!
It's gonna be an absolute mess. Come on, break them. They're shattered. Move in, lads. What a battle this has been. Excuse me, you're using my hearing background, my friend. Someone has just woken up, as you can probably tell. Come on, move it, lads. Get in there. Don't dawdle. Look at this. I mean, you just look at that. It's just been cut to pieces, sir. Come on, lads. Stay with us now. Stay with it. There's any noise in the background, my friends? You can probably tell someone's just woken up. And put these to the sword. Oh, look at that. Now that's close quarter combat. Good grief. There's no escape here. This is just no escape. They've shattered, we've got it. Jerusalem is ours, Jerusalem is ours. Oh, what a fight that was, good grief. That was an incredibly tough fight there, sir. 898, we lost 2,252. Is the city now ours? Is the city finally ours, sir? We'll have to wait again. But if we've taken this, we've then taken a huge chunk out of the Ottoman Empire. A massive chunk out of it. That will prove invaluable in our fight in finally ridding ourselves of the Ottomans. As you can see, they're already starting to suffer lots of attrition from their armies, which will only do us well here in the battle for Ankara. It's exactly what we want to do. And this again will probably take a little while just to sort itself out here. As you can imagine, my friends, the sheer number of armies and troops on this.
Lifting siege!
Yes, we've got it. Palestine, Jerusalem has fallen to us. Oh my word, what a fight that was, my friends. What a fight. Even just selecting these troops here. These must be the Azars that we fought as they came off the field there. What a fight this has been. What a campaign this has been. What an episode this has been. We now have the two major cities now of the Ottoman Empire, Damascus and Jerusalem, under our control. The next battle we have, my friends, the next battle we have is for Croatia. That is our next battle. Now the great swathe of the Middle East is under our control now. Istanbul, though, will be a tough nut to crack. Yes, it was those Azars. Whew. What a fight that was. We've finally brought it under our control here. And we've also going to move our troops to finally take Croatia.
They hide behind women's skirts.
And this, my friends, is how we're going to end this episode. We're going to be drawing in two very, very powerful two armies here. Our army wishes assault in Croatia, but look at the forces they're bringing in here. These are nothing to be sniffed at, although they have taken quite a lot of damage here. They're not at full strength. Neither of these. So we might find ourselves not an easier task. We must underestimate the enemy. As you can see, you know, we do actually. There's a very experienced army, as you can see, under General Robert Caton. But my friends, this is going to be a fight which we are going to take next episode. Austria will fall with the fall of Croatia. Of that you have my word, my friends. But I'm going to end this episode here. I hope you've enjoyed it, my friends. As always, please keep your comments coming down below. All of your comments, my friends, are absolutely wonderful. As you can see, your comments guide and mould this campaign the way it is. And I really do absolutely listen to every single comment you have. I read every comment. And I try and apply every comment, even if you don't see it straight away. It will be done in the future, my friends. I can promise you. But my friends, I'm going to end this episode here. Whatever you're doing, please be safe. And until next time, my friends, bye for now.